And this is our second segment actually today around coping in the post-COVID-19 environment and world. So I'm real privileged today to have with me one of my friends, but also I think one of the more innovative educational leaders in this community and that I've met, period. So Mike Townsend is one of the assistant principals at Andrew Jackson High School. He's got administrative experiences in a number of other schools in the district as well. Mike, I believe you're a former math teacher.
Yes, sir, and I think I've moonlighted as an instructional coach, among other things.
So Mike's here today to, I know that, like, as a parent myself, even though my kids are older, there's a challenge in helping them navigate not only their anxiety about the move to an online, kind of teaching environment, online schooling, which starts in Duval County Public Schools on Monday. But as a parent, I still am trying to think through how I'm going to best support their schooling when it moves online. But before I actually get into that, I do want to just congratulate and applaud Duval County Public Schools, the leadership teams, your involvement, of course, Mike. But to move how many teachers in the district? 9?
Oh, easily. I think it's 8,000 and change right now.
So to move over 8,000 teachers that rapidly, to create possibilities to continue high quality instruction for our kids is just such a testament not only to those 8,000 plus teachers, but to the Herculean effort of your administrative team under quite challenging circumstances and compressed time to pull this off. It's just huge props to your leadership and Superintendent Diana Green, of course. So I want to start with that. With that being said, do you want to talk a little bit about what parents might be and family members and caregivers might be, what we will be experiencing Monday when our kids move to online platforms?
Sure. So, the teachers will be trained tomorrow virtually, but most of this is going to roll out through a Microsoft product called Teams. And students and teachers have had access to that at least for the last 2 years. We just haven't always leveraged it like we're about to leverage it. And so different schools are going to have a little bit of a different structure as far as their schedule, what classes students might go to at certain times. But our understanding is all of this is going to be facilitated through the Teams platform, and that platform allows a teacher to upload documents, to grade documents, to even be able to do synchronous instruction where they're doing some live instruction with students being able to respond. So I'm pretty excited about it. It's interesting because the product has been there. We have been through some trainings with the product, and we have been suggested or encouraged to be utilizing these platforms for several years now, and this is going to kind of push us off the dock per se and make us be better at leveraging technology and meeting the needs of our kids.
I think those are some important, I know from, had I not spoken with you earlier today, and again, having 2 kids who are in 2 different high schools in Duval, whose teachers, to greater or lesser extent, I think use those capabilities already.
Right.
But that's something my students for the most part have been, I haven't had to overly manage like their academics. So hearing that this platform, the use of Teams, Microsoft Teams, has been something that's been in play and operating in Duval for a couple of years. I know as a parent, it's much more comforting to know that this isn't something that's being kind of patched together without any previous experience or knowledge.
Correct. Yeah, and I think everybody just, we're all living our way into this. No one here is going to be an expert, as you and I have discussed. Of course, you always have a couple teachers that have been leveraging this kind of technology in their classrooms, and they're going to be, quote unquote, the rock star in deployment. But all of us just have to have that grace for each other, grace for our students, grace for the teachers and administrators, because there'll be some growing pains, but change is not always bad. Change is how we grow. So I'm excited personally, and I am going to keep being a champion for that excitement. It's not going to be perfect by any means, but I think that we are going to do more than make the most of it. I think we're still going to be able to help kids master standards. It's just going to be a different vehicle for doing so. And if we ever return to the traditional model, hopefully kids will be able to return sooner than later. This stuff won't fall by the wayside, but it'll become another layer of Duval excellence in instruction.
I guess that mantra of grace, like how can we become more gracious with each other during these times when we have to innovate? I think that the thing that I guess if there is something that I'm excited about through this process is that it's really pressed the need to rethink and reimagine what it means to teach and how to do that, what it means to lead and how to do that, what it means to build community and how to do that. So I think that spirit of ingenuity and the idea that you can, as a teacher, innovate. I know that's something that often I hear as a critique of many school districts, is that teachers will say, well, I'm not having enough opportunity to innovate. But here, I mean, this is a great opportunity to innovate.
Yeah, you have to adapt at this point. You really don't have a choice but to innovate. And so I just want to encourage parents to take a deep breath and realize that no, this is not a homeschool model. You are not going to be the teacher that has to sit down for 8 hours and teach your student content that you may or may not even be familiar with. Like a parent that does homeschool, though, that maybe leverages Florida Virtual or Duval Virtual, you do need to make sure you set up a structure of accountability with your child, that you're regularly checking on their progress, on their grades, making sure that if they don't know how to do something, either you're helping them or you're helping them connect with their teacher who should be helping them. Every teacher, to my understanding in Duval, will have planning time still, but they'll also keep office hours where they will be eligible or available for a parent or a student to reach out to have a specific question answered, especially with some of the content that's out there. I mean, my fourth grader brings home math sometimes that I might have a hard time with, but God forbid, in a way, if you're not math savvy or science savvy and you have a high schooler who's sitting in physics, we don't want any parent to feel like you suddenly have to be able to teach physics, or that the student just has to Google physics to kind of wing it and figure it out. That's not how this model is supposed to work out. So, as a parent, my wife and I, we've been thinking through what we're going to do with our elementary and middle school age children. A lot of it will be just setting a structure at home. Hey, these are the expectations of the hours that you will be working on school. Making sure we know when our students, our children's teachers have office hours, and having that mapped out or written down so that if my child needs to contact a teacher or I need to contact a teacher, I can do so. And then, all these support folks, your deans, your instructional coaches, your administrators, your ESC support facilitators, they're all still around and also available if a parent needs support. A parent does not need to wait a week with a child at home who says they cannot do the work that's been assigned before they reach out to somebody. So, I guess just encouraging parents to take a deep breath and to develop a good structure, but also to know your resources. School-based personnel will still be there. You can email, you can contact the school. And if you're not getting a response from a teacher even during office hours, let us help. Teachers are living their way into it. Having 130, 140 students at the secondary level might be a lot of phone calls. So if a teacher gets a little busy, we want to be able to be there to support them as well, to make sure that the students' needs are being met.
Now, it sounds like each student's experience, based on so many things, teachers' previous savviness, I guess, with technology, of course, the course content, that their experiences are going to vary class to class, I would imagine. I know that my youngest son is in choir. He's in a performance arts school. So how that translates at Douglas Anderson, I guess he'll have to find out. I have great confidence in those choral teachers. But what do you say to parents who might be expecting that maybe they have 3 kids? I mean, is it quite plausible that they're going to have see 3 different ways that this learning is going to be extended to their children?
I mean, yes and no. The learning will be extended to their children in the same way, regardless of the school. Again, they'll be leveraging that Teams platform where teachers will be posting assignments, grading things, replying or responding to student needs. So that'll be the same across the district. What will vary by school is the structure that it's given. For us, we're going to work on a bell schedule. We're even going to do an A-day, B-day rotation. And we're going to be very structured where our students know, hey, for first period 1A, from this time, you should be working on work for that class. And if you don't have work for that class, your teacher will know it. And you have some other things that you can perhaps get ahead on with some other courses. But we're going to be running on a schedule where some schools will not. It'll be more like English is from 8 to 9:30, and math might be from 10 to 11:30. So that part will vary school to school, and each school should be responsible to push that out to their stakeholders, either via email or their website. And of course, if a parent has a question about that, they can always reach out to the school. So that might vary based on your student, but what will be the same is the platform, the vehicle for which instruction will be delivered. That'll all come through Teams.
Is it so? There wouldn't be any kind of possibility, I would imagine, though, for parents to be able to communicate through Teams. That's still, if you want communication between families and parents, it's probably strictly going to be, probably email would be the best way to do that.
You know, I'm not sure, Chris, and that is back to my ignorance, and I'm thankful that I'm going to be learning a lot more about Teams through this experience. They might have the availability to go through the Teams app to reach out to their parents, but I definitely know they can do it through Focus. Focus is not going away, so they can definitely still reach out that way as well.
And can you describe what Focus is very quickly?
Oh, sure, yeah. Focus is the online platform that the district leverages for grade books, for tests, and test score information, attendance. So parents should have a Parent Focus account by now, and when they log into their Parent Focus, they should be able to see their child's grades in each course and see if they have any missing assignments. That should mirror what is in Teams.
Okay. Now, I know that the district and all districts, in fact, in Florida this year instituted some really mental health awareness and training and teaching. And I think in Duval it's called Wellness Wednesdays.
Yes, sir.
Would that still I would hope that would still continue, but to your knowledge, what's the status?
I couldn't say. I know that what I have seen is that the mental health services that we have been provided are still available to the students that have already signed up for them. And some of that might be handled virtually as opposed to face-to-face as we're trying to honor the guidelines that the government has rolled out to keep everyone safe. As far as the Wellness Wednesdays, I'm not sure. I couldn't speak to it, but again, what are we 2 days now into knowing that we're moving to an online, platform, and so I'm sure that information will be coming soon, if not this week, by next week.
Sure. So going back to what would be some other recommendations that you would have for parents, once their kids embark on this journey with us together on Monday?
Sure. I'm going to speak as a parent now.
Sure.
I think we all know one of the most frustrating things with our children is that our children will sometimes do for other adults what they won't do for us. And so, I would recommend to our parents that they, practice good parenting, which means that you combine positive incentive with some things that, hey, if you don't do X, Y, and Z, this could be the consequences. My children really respond well to positive incentives, but all 3 of them have different incentives. One, it's, hey, if you do X, Y, and Z, we'll get you some art supplies ordered. For another, it's Legos. For another, it's video game credits for the Xbox. But we make sure that we provide positive incentives to make sure our own children are moving forward and doing what they need to do. And likewise, just back to being a good parent, yelling and screaming and all those kind of things can be very counterproductive, but consequences do work. And my son in particular, who I love, no, he doesn't get access to electronics for fun until he takes care of his business academically. So, using positive rewards, using consequences, making sure it's very clear, but then also building in times for outside activities, times for being creative. We've done all that in our own household. We're trying to parent well-rounded kids. And so it's balancing academics with, being outside, playing, getting exercise, and doing art or music. Those are things I would just recommend to parents, and try not to be too ambiguous, but definitely map out a plan and have clear expectations and clear incentives for your children. That will definitely work a lot better than do this or else.
Okay. I think that's really helpful. I know that, the questions that I've had for my son, which of course I can't answer because this is all being created by the district, and I think sometimes he thinks I know more than I do. They think I know more than I do, but they've got all these curiosities about passing time between classes, if you adhere to the schedule,
Sure.
or lunch, or will they have natural breaks in the day so they're not glued in front of a monitor for 7 hours? So I imagine that's all being in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah, I mean, again, the district, I appreciate this current leadership so much because they respect that each school building has different needs. And what they have not done is mandated this is what the schedule has to look like. And while that might be challenging if you have students at multiple grades or multiple schools, what I love about it is, as far as being an administrator at Jackson, is we know our students, we tend to know our parents very well, and we have built a schedule that has breaks, that has quote-unquote virtual transition times, that includes lots of time for lunch, that has the office hours built in, and what we feel like is a smart way for the needs of our students. So I don't know about your kids' academic load, Chris, but I would think that a student is not going to be glued to their monitor for 7 or 8 hours a day with this platform unless they are just taking a very, very heavy academic case or course load.
Okay. Yeah, I guess that I hadn't thought about as much the enrichment courses and and how that would work, especially if there's more physical presence demanded. So it's a good point. What are some things that you'll be looking for on Monday or Tuesday that would signify that students are getting this, that they're, because I know one thing that probably I would imagine it's important for parents to know that there's got to be some kind of mechanism to make sure that students are participating, that attendance is still a thing. And I know that maybe there hasn't been specific, maybe that how to monitor that hasn't been hashed out in full detail, but there will be the necessity for students to be on this, right?
Absolutely, and actually that has been mapped out. As it was explained to us yesterday, Teams provides us the ability to know who's logging in and who's not.
Okay.
In addition, we'll also be able to know what kids are completing assignments and who is not. And that's where all these support personnel come into play along with the teacher. We're reaching out to students. Hey, we've noticed you're not doing this or you're falling behind. We can do to help. And in keeping parents in the loop with that as well if need be.
Okay. Well, thanks, Mike. Are there other things that you'd like to add or provide your perspective around regarding either, your vantage as a parent or as an administrator?
Sure. Well, I mean, I know that having your kids at home can be a lot. I've gotten several texts from my own wife who's already having some frustrations, even so I guess I just want to say keep it positive for all of us. We're going to live our way into it. I really think that this is going to be helpful. It's going to make us grow, but let's just keep that positive attitude through the course of the rollout. And I do know that as we learn lessons along the way, we're going to get better and better at it. So encourage, be positive, reach out if you need help. Don't get frustrated. and we're all in this together. And like they've been saying at the district, we've got this. We can do this. It's just going to require us to change.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate your time. I also want to give a shout out to your basketball team. Right?
Yep. Yes, sir. That was awesome. But we're going to get it next year. We're so close.
Yeah. What a great run, though. And last, I'm asking people, kind of in the spirit of a learning exchange, to reflect on maybe a different kind of question related to the times that we're experiencing. And clearly, this has been and continues to be. I mean, this is trauma that we're experiencing on a collective, comprehensive basis. And so there's just a lot of uncertainty in this world. What are some things that you personally are doing to be able to manage the anxiety that comes along with the uncertainty that we're living in right now?
Right. Well, I know that you know that I pretty much have what I consider to be a sincere faith and love of Jesus. And even if you don't have that worldview, I still think practicing stillness. I personally make sure I'm meditating more than I was. I'm making sure that sometimes I'm just outside and I'm sitting and I'm enjoying just being in Florida at this time of year and listening to the breeze, listening to birds. And I'm not trying to be too esoteric, but I think that it's easy to be afraid. But what is something that we have to fight for is stillness. And so I would just know that for me, I'm getting back into some practices that in my busyness prior to the slowdown that I got away from. And so more meditation, more time outside, more time just talking to my wife and my kids and laughing and board games. In a way, this has been such a great reset. I just wish that it didn't come with all the negative trappings and obviously people perishing or living in fear. So that's really what I've been reflecting on. It's just slow down. It's okay, and be fully present. Learn, cultivate stillness, and my faith gives me a great vehicle for doing that.
Well, thank you, Mike Townsend. I admire your leadership, and I value our friendship. So thank you for your time sharing, I think, really useful information today.
I appreciate you having me on, and let me just say, go Tigers.
Take care.
Yes, sir. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.